Timing there, Tony. Way to go, man. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dig a Little Deeper, special edition, as we look back on an extinct attraction, the one, the only top 5 attraction of all time in that building of DCA. Who wants to be a millionaire? Yeah. Joining me today for this special edition are our extinct attraction expert, Cole.
Hello.
I call him Cole because I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
That's fair. Most people don't.
And also with us over there is Tony. I call him Tony because I don't know his last name. So, hi, Tony.
It's for the best.
What?
I said that's for the best.
For the best. I do know it. I just keep forgetting it. Anyway, we are Laughing Place. We're going to be talking about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Play It. Before we begin, we'd like to remind you to please like a stream, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Also, we're live. We're doing this live. We're taking our chances on not embarrassing ourselves completely. We do it live for one reason only, and that's so you can contribute. So if you're not going to send us some comments, ask us questions, give your thoughts on it, then really there's no point in us being live. So don't make us be pointless. Please contribute in the comments. And if it's especially clever or silly or funny, or we don't have anything better, we'll even put it up on the screen. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to you, Cole, and you can get us started on the one, the only Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Play It.
All right. Well, to start out, who remembers when it first aired way back in 1999? Tony remembers.
21 years ago? Yeah.
21 years ago. I don't remember because I was 3. So
Good night, everybody. I'll see you later.
I do remember watching reruns, though, on Game Show Network. I was a big fan of the reruns there. GSN, I used to watch it all the time. But maybe you guys could speak a little bit to how wild it was back when it first aired, because it really kind of just took over for those 2 weeks.
It was a phenomenon.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think of an equivalent recently. Can you think of anything, Tony?
Not to that extent. That was appointment television. That was you would go home and watch it when it aired. There was no DVR. You could send DVR to tape it, sure, but like you had to watch it then.
Think of like the Sopranos finale or the Game of Thrones finale, where everyone, obviously there's DVR, but everyone wanted to see it. They didn't want to be spoiled. They wanted to watch it live.
Yeah,
that's what this was, because we had no choice but to watch it live, pretty much. But it was a big deal, and it was such a big deal that Disney decided to run it into the ground, and no one cared. But
classic.
It was destination television for a short time there, and it's what everyone was talking about.
Mm-hmm. And I think it was smart too how when it first aired, it was just a 2-week event and then another 2-week event later in there. They kind of limited it so that it was, we got to watch it, because otherwise who knows when we'll get to watch it again before the decision to bring it to prime time every night.
It was limited time and like the first 2, and then because of that, like Doobie said, running it into the ground, it was just, let's make this every day.
I have a question on that aspect. So it's not like each show was one contestant. A contestant would go until they're off, and they'd bring on the next contestant. He may last across shows. How did they know it would be a 2-week event, that it wouldn't end like right in the middle of a contestant? How did they do that? Anybody know?
Editing.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, they probably recorded all of them in like 1 or 2 days and then timed it out to get it to exactly the 2 weeks.
So did you guys watch the recent Celebrity Run with Jimmy Kimmel?
No.
So if you watch that, they kind of talk about it ish, like it's kind of hinted at. I feel like they did it all in like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And then it stretched out and it ran for 10 weeks, once a week, once a week, as opposed to back then it was every night for 2 weeks. So I would assume it was similar, or it was like, let's do 3 or 4 days of taping and then put it all together.
Yeah.
Sorry, I never thought of that. Thank you, Tony. I'm feeling dumb right now.
There you go, though. That's your answer. So Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, though, was not an original show. It was based off of a British show, also conveniently called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I don't believe that it had the same style. I think that it was a longer form though. Like it had been around for a few years before it came to America, and ABC said, "This seems like a good idea."
Speaking of the British show, you cannot mention Who Wants to Be a Millionaire British edition without mentioning Charles Ingram, Major Ingram. Are we all familiar with Major Ingram?
Nope.
Right. I'm not going to spoil this for everyone. All I got to say is, if you like game show scandals, you want to watch. You want to Google.
Is he the guy that?
I do know who this guy is.
Yeah, you couldn't get away with that right now, of course.
Yep.
Everyone is but yes, the guy who was coughing in the audience and giving away the answers became a huge scandal.
No, Charles Ingram was his wife was coughing in the audience.
Yes, thank you, Gideon. You are correct. Yes, Charles Ingram was the contestant, and he was a major, right? Major Ingram. Yeah. Anyway, I digress, but I just had to mention him.
Right?
A great documentary series that just aired that I just the whole thing too. All right, continue. Sorry, go ahead, Cole.
Yes. So when Who Wants to Be a Millionaire though was on air, it was hosted by the late Regis Philbin, which unfortunately, he just passed away very recently. There he is in all his glory. And yeah, I thought he was the perfect host for the show. Really, he had such a nice demeanor to it, and it all kind of fit together well when he was hosting.
Concur. He was a really perfect host for that show. The right combination of wit and snark and
empathy.
Yeah, true, empathy. Yeah, empathy mixed with I can't believe you're dumb enough to miss the $100 question.
What happens?
Yes, I know.
Yeah, so the one thing that sets the show apart too is it was the first ever game show, at least in the US, to offer $1 million prize that hadn't been done before. So the stakes were so much higher than anyone had ever seen in a game show before. So it led to it getting 28 million viewers per episode during its peak times, which is pretty nuts when you think about a game show having that many people watch it.
For sure. That's slightly more than the Joker's Wild in its heyday.
Yeah.
Card sharks.
So of course, Disney hopped on the bandwagon and Michael Eisner said, "Hey, we're running the show to death on prime time. Why don't we also run it to death in our theme parks?" And so sure enough, on April 7th, 2001, the show opened at Hollywood Studios, and on September 4th, 2001, it opened in Disney's California Adventure, as it was known then. I guess it was Disney-MGM Studio then as well, if we're going real back. There it is in DCA, how it looks. So today, that's where it's not really used for anything. There was the Frozen Fun there for a little while, but it remains kind of empty for the most part. I'm surprised they don't really use it more often.
Event space.
Yeah, it's just event space that it seems like should serve a bigger purpose, but does not.
To let people know where this is, since there's no real context in my wonderful picture here. To the left, as you're staring at it, to the left is Muppet Vision / PhilharMagic, and the big building to the right of this was Superstar Lamo, is now Monster Inc. Mike himself to the rescue.
Yeah, that's it. I always forget that name. And then in Hollywood Studios, it is where Toy Story Mania is. They got rid of, or they put the building there.
I told Gideon wrong earlier. I said it's where Frozen Ever After is, but that is wrong. Not Frozen Ever After.
Frozen Ever After. Isn't that
Sorry, Frozen theme line.
It's about knowledge, though. It's about knowledge, so it could fit in Epcot. In the Norway Pavilion, it really works there. Obviously. So both of them were
get a better chance of getting sponsored by the Norway Tourism Board than Frozen did.
So both of the buildings were actually new buildings. So California Adventure had only opened a couple months before, but they built this building specifically for Millionaire in Hollywood Studios. Nothing was there before. And in Hollywood Studios, it was kind of, we want to put this here. But in California Adventure, the goal was really to try and get more people into the parks. And, that first few years, was really failing. I don't know why my brother keeps going outside and coming back inside, but I hope you enjoy the door going open and closed.
Next time he goes out, can you lock it? And then we, problem solved.
True. Yeah, so that was kind of the goal in California Adventure, especially, was, hey, we have this giant hit television show. Maybe this show in a theme park will really bring people in. And I have to say, it did, at least from the early days. Sometimes I had a 60-minute wait. Can you imagine waiting 60 minutes in a line to watch this show?
Or at least maybe while you're waiting in line, you can watch the show.
I think they did have like the best of clips, running, didn't they?
I think so.
So since you're talking about DCA, here's something I don't even know if you guys are aware of this. We were media back then, still are, and they held a media event to audition for the host for that show at some hotel in Beverly Hills. And so here are some pictures from way back in 1912. By the graininess, you can tell that event. And some of
that brownie that took those pictures.
Yeah, it was. Had a crank on the side, and see the audition check-in, the Grand Paul room. I think that one of the people auditioned. I think she got on. She looks familiar, so I know I've seen her at DCA, and I think this guy too, if I recall. So anyway, just thought I'd throw some of these old pictures from last century up there for you, remind you of how much they were promoting this. They were promoting the auditions for the people to be in the show.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, I didn't even know that took place.
I mean, it makes sense, but the fact that they had media there is pretty nice.
And normally, I don't think you'd have a entertainment audition for a Disney park show at a ritzy ballroom at Beverly Hills. Like, I feel like I could World brain coming in, but I'm pretty sure there's a building just for that behind a rinky-dink gift shop on 192.
This was California. There's one.
True.
That was a very
Harbor Boulevard. Sorry, my apologies.
A very 2001 Michael Eisner move of, hey, everything's going crazy. Why not promote the heck out of everything?
Yeah, I remember there was food and I enjoyed it.
Honestly, they fed you too. Really, that was a pretty good event. That's high class. So, looking at how the gameplay kind of differed from the TV show. So, of course, you weren't playing for money. You were playing for points. So, there were some special prizes for each kind of level. So, every time you got a question correct, you got a pin, which was exciting. And it had the number of, I got 100 points. I got whatever points. So, then at 1,000, you also got a hat. You know, very exciting. At 32,000, you got a shirt that said you made it that far. And for 1,000,000 points, you got a jacket, a medallion, and a trip to New York to see them tape the show, which is pretty cool.
On when you played and won.
Exactly. I was going to get to that. So then, don't worry. So then once the show wasn't on primetime anymore, they realized, hey, maybe people don't want to go watch a syndicated version film. That doesn't seem super exciting. So then you got a trip for 4 on a Disney Cruise Line vacation, which to me sounds a lot better than a trip to New York to go watch them play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah. Do you know what the length was? Because I feel like it was probably just like a 3-day or a 4-day.
Yeah, it couldn't have been more than a 3 or 4 day.
Yeah.
There's no way that they were gonna. If that was the length of the cruise for what is it, the cooking, Be Our Chef, then I don't think that for a theme park show they're gonna give you a longer cruise than that when you have a Disney Plus show about you.
And these were so despite the fact it was in a Disney location, these were just regular questions, right? They weren't Disney themed in any way.
It was regular except for on special circumstances.
Because I know here in Florida, I don't think they did an equivalent out there. During Star Wars weekends, they would run it as a Star Wars trivia game.
Yes.
When it was still around.
Sometimes before, they'd have someone dressed up as Greedo as the first person, and he would answer everything in his native language of Rhodese.
I've never got to see that.
Yeah, kind of fun.
Breaking news.
We have breaking news. According to the very reliable, no sarcasm, allears.net, 4 people won a 3-night cruise, including airfare.
Okay.
That is all.
So yeah, that makes sense.
Is that really breaking?
Breaking in that I need to break into you guys talking.
Oh,
so
okay.
So also for ESPN weekends, when they would have
Yep.
weekends celebrating sports, they would also do sports themed questions.
I think
so
they
I'm
did
sure
it
there was
also
for what?
Super Soap weekend.
Yeah, I was gonna say they probably did it for
Yep.
Super Soap and any other ones that
Any
I
special
can't think
event,
of.
really.
They probably did special questions those times as well.
Yes, I've seen that, and they do.
Yeah. So
Did we do Super Soap weekend?
No, ESPN the weekend. Excuse
Oh,
me.
okay.
Thank you.
I just heard about Super
I know
Soap
we didn't
weekend,
catch up
and
on our stories.
No.
I was blown away hearing about Super Soap weekend the other day. I was like, what?
Or were you like, you weren't even born yet when they were having those? Were you?
No, I don't think so.
The first couple I was not, no.
Oh my goodness. Too young to talk Disney.
You know, soap operas. We once had a restaurant all about soap operas.
Okay, so there was a few ways that you could get chosen. So there was just kind of a random draw. If you had a fast pass, you had a little easier chance to get one as well, because you could kind of get into the theater earlier. And then there was also quizzes that they did in line. So they'd ask just random people in line some questions, and if you got it right, you would be able to be in one of the 10 seats before the hot seat. So those are the chances to kind of get there before you got to the hot seat, which is cool that you had like multiple ways. They didn't limit it to just one thing. And then once you were there, it worked very similarly to how the game show works on television, where you would kind of just buzz in, and then whoever did the best would get to have the hot seat. I know, Tony, you had some experience with that, right?
Yeah. I never got to the bottom part, like you said, with the fast pass or anything like that. I was up in the crowd. I've been fortunate to do both of them. At California Adventure, I was a guest, but I was young and like awkwardly shy. I would wait to make sure and like ring in, because you got more points the faster you did it.
Yeah.
So I would wait to make sure. That way I knew there was no chance I'd ever go down. But when I did it here, at that point, I was on my college program. That was 2006, right before the show closed. Not right before, but as the show was getting ready to close. And I would do it. And I think I went and saw it 4 times. And there was twice where I had to say, no, sorry, I'm a cast member. I can't play. But at no point was I ever down in those 10 seats. I was always up in the stands. So I never did it first. It was just in the middle of the game when they needed somebody else. Yeah,
so that was a cool little like quirk that it had, was if you were up in the stands, you could play along, and if you were the highest ranking person, you would take over the hot seat.
Yeah,
that's such an interesting idea.
It was never like the fastest finger for like the whole crowd. It was you played along the entire game, and it would base your points off of that. It wasn't just that last question they went out on.
Yeah, so I like that idea a lot. Just the fact that it still keeps you involved, and you're like, oh, I can play along with everyone else.
Yeah, because it's not just like, oh, I'm watching this guy. Let's see if he blows it. Let's see if he wins. It's I'm involved. I'm playing.
I have a story. So I never got to. I went. I would fastest finger. I never got on. I'm not very smart, but they have a version of this on the Disney Cruise Line called "Who Wants to Be a Mouseketeer," which is kind of the same setup, but it is all Disney questions. And I do want to say that I got into the hot seat there. There I am in 2006, back when Cole was about -4 years old, and the hot seat. And I was a winner. And since I was already on a Disney cruise, I got a medallion. So
nice.
I'm very proud of that. So.
I have my fair share of Disney cruise medallions. There's something about it that you stroll around, you're like, look at me, here I am, champion of the trivia.
Yeah, yeah. At some point I realized I don't want to be wearing this, and I'm already geeky and nerdy.
No, I don't have a Disney cruise medallion, but I'm imagining it's more of a permanent version of the yogurt cap lids from The Office, those medals.
Basically, it's plastic. Okay. It's made of plastic, yep.
You know, it was really cool, though. It actually, I mean, this was my very first cruise back in 2006. This was the first night that we went and did this, and I did this. And it was a 7-night cruise, and it was kind of cool. People were recognizing me. I have a memorable face. People will recognize me for the rest of the crew. Hey, you're the guy that went. It was actually pretty fun. I was like 7 days of being a celebrity, and they were like, "I want to be a celebrity," so that took care of that.
That's what happens when you're a Musketeer.
Yeah.
No, man, you were just famous from one little game. That's so exciting.
Careful.
Okay.
Going back full circle though, I remember the people would wear their memorabilia and stuff, their pins, all down like from them being in the show, and they would get called out too. Yeah,
Like this.
I don't know if
guy.
it's Florida, but
yeah, that jacket came in handy.
yeah. But definitely was it a t-shirt or a polo? Because I remember both.
They might have switched it.
Okay.
I saw that it was a shirt, but it could have also been a polo too.
Yeah.
They could have upped the prize a little bit for them.
Yeah. I love it might have been a polo first and then the t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Did you mention I get distracted. The phone a stranger? Because
not yet. That's what I was going to talk about. Yeah.
I will not take that away from you.
Yeah. So there was the similar lifelines of 50-50 and audience selection or audience choice, where they kind of told you what they thought it used to be. But for phone a stranger, what they would do is they would just call to the outside of the building, and there was a cast member stationed near the phone and would just ask a random stranger to come over and answer the question, which is always wild.
That is so awesome, I think.
Yeah, can you imagine being put on the spot like that and hoping that a stranger will somehow know the answer to this question that you're...
I could just see him. I mean, and we're at Disneyland or Disney World.
Yeah.
The American might not speak English. That's so funny. And there it is. Phone a complete stranger.
It would be even funnier if they didn't even have someone next to it. They just rang the phone and someone's like, "Oh, the phone's ringing. Maybe I should answer that."
Oh, then it'd just become an AP hangout.
You know, are you going to talk about that too, Cole?
No.
8 annual pass holders and this
Go
game.
for it.
So I remember I kind of did something about it not too long ago, and I had to look this up because I was like, how come we didn't see annual pass holders going back and back and back again? Because it was different questions each time, at least that I saw. But there was a stipulation that if you ever went down to the hot seat, you had to wait, I think it was 30 days before you could even do it again. And then if it was, if you won anything above a certain level, you had to wait a year before you could play again.
It's optimistic.
So it sounds like the American Idol experience for why you didn't see the same people over and over, because they were like, don't go crazy, guys.
But I feel like, especially like, and this sounds horrible in this day and age with the annual pass holders, I feel like that would be the bulk of the show. Oh
yeah, no, definitely. I know that I would try to consistently go and try to compete. I'd be like, what? Yeah. Why not? I want to go play this game.
Trading pins.
Why not? If you have a life, Cole.
That is my life.
So, question for Mr. Extinct Attraction Expert. Are these the only 2 attractions where guests could win something significant?
I can't think of any others just offhand. These are the only 2 I really can think of.
Got your shirt coming out? You okay, Tony?
No, it's good. We're good.
Because these are really the only ones kind of based off TV shows in terms of what they were doing. So...
yeah, I can't think of anything at all. Which,
so I don't know if you would call it an attraction, but back when Disneyland did the big giveaway machines, came in. But would you call those attractions though?
Yeah, because they also did the
no, because that was I think of it more of like Year of a Million Dreams in terms of how it was kind of functioning.
Although I don't know how it worked. Did it take like an e-ticket to do it back then? Did you have to stand in line? I don't even know how it worked back then.
For the giveaway machines?
Yeah.
I the one I remember was Disneyland, the 35th. You got a ticket. It had some crazy name to it. Whatever. It was a big machine, but you got a ticket that you would go and you'd put it in and pull a lever like a slot machine, and it would dish out a hat, a plush, or a 1989 Toyota something or other.
We had a friend who won one of the what was that SUV called back then? I can't remember. Man, but he got a license plate that said Fantasmic, and he had that car for a long time. Geo.
Is that an attraction?
So one other interesting quirk too was that if you went over the 25-minute time limit and you were still playing, they let you keep going. They didn't stop you and kind of move you to the next show. So you would get to keep playing until you got the question wrong or got to 1,000,000 points. So I feel like that probably also played into why the wait time was so long, because if you don't actually know how long your show is going to be, it could potentially go significantly longer than you planned for.
Did they clear out the audience?
Yeah, so they wouldn't clear out the audience till that person was done answering their question.
I remember, at least here, they were bricked out. There wasn't a wait time. It was a show schedule. But I think it was every hour or every hour and 15 minutes. And I feel like that could be why.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's weird. So theoretically, this attraction was even longer than Ellen's Energy Adventure.
It could have been. I doubt they would have started someone at.
You can even go to the bathroom.
So, theoretically.
Tony, did they ever have more than one person hit the hot seat per round other than someone taking over for them? So like if someone got the question, like the second question wrong, would they move someone else in?
Yeah. So like if you started and let's say they tanked on that 200-point question, I almost said 200-point question, that's when the audience riggings would come into play.
So then what if they tank though on the next question?
I don't know.
That'd be wild, right?
A few times I've seen it. Because I remember, that's the whole point was the audience would be playing along and then they'd get pulled down. But I don't remember seeing more than 2, maybe 3.
Okay.
But yeah.
I feel like you have to stop it at a certain point because otherwise then you're going to have people getting really high scores without having to do much.
Yep. Well, no, it would reset with the next
game.
They
would just bring the next person in. Yep. Got it.
So like the game show itself, Regis Philbin being an important, being the key to the show, I think the hosts were the key to this show too. They did a really good job. I don't know if you heard, but they actually held auditions in Beverly Hills to get hosts for their show. And I think they did a really good job selecting because my recollection is they were, witty, while also being a little snarky and sympathetic. And, they did a good job.
We'll go back to the conversation last week. I feel like the judges for American Idol and the hosts for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Play It were all kind of pulled from the same camp, as we'll say, out here. That also features clubs of adventurers and a warehouse of comedy and that kind of idea.
Are you implying they didn't have a big swanky audition with food for the media?
I can't vouch for Florida, but having seen the show in Florida more times than I saw it in California, you would definitely see one guy hosting Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Play It, and then maybe the next night telling stories in a bunch of 1937 garb at Pleasure Island.
You also see them at Star Wars. I can't keep trying. What is it called? Hoopla?
The Hyperspace Hoopla.
It's my favorite show.
Yes, hosting that too.
There's one for you. Have you done that one yet, Cole?
Oh yes.
Okay.
That is one of my favorites, absolute favorites. I have seen it more times than I could count. I love it.
One of my relatives is a very, very he'll bleed like Star Wars purity, like Star Wars purist. Like he doesn't like anything in the new stuff. I'll leave it at that. But he saw that show 2008, maybe 2007, and they had one of the dance off with the Star Wars stars, and you just look back and you see him. Angry. So funny when Disney canceled it and said we have to protect the integrity of these characters and blah, blah, blah.
It's amazing they let it happen for 2 years after they bought Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
I was honestly kind of shocked looking at it. I was like, how did they, what?
Star Wars is different than Disney. I mean, let's not forget the Life Festival TV show way back when, and Lucas would license that thing for anything. I'm glad Disney, at least for a while, kept that spirit going because they have no integrity, which is good. So I have a question for you guys, which is a little tangential. What's your all-time favorite game show? Don't all answer at once.
Yeah,
It's a big question.
I know. Game shows are woven into the fabric of America. Do you have one, Gideon?
I'm guessing Pyramid.
Pyramid. Who's your favorite host?
No, that was my guess for Gideon.
Oh, why?
Because it was trivia a couple of weeks ago, and somebody said Nani Osmond, and he goes, "Oh, the host of Pyramid."
That's right. That's who he is to him.
You know, if you asked me like 2 years ago, I probably would have said like Price is Right or Jeopardy. But I've been watching a channel called Buzzer a lot, and been watching a lot of old Match Game, and I would almost say Match Game's up there.
Yeah, that's barely a game show. It's a comedy show. Other than the game show. That's a good one. I love Match Game. The classic Gene Rayburn, right?
Yeah.
I agree with Amy that Wheel of Fortune is probably my favorite because I think it's the one I'm the best at. So it's the most fun for me to play along with, at least.
Gideon, what's yours?
I have 3. It's Legend of the Hidden Temple.
Oh, are we counting those as game shows then?
Because game show.
Then
yeah,
what? Legends would absolutely be my favorite one. I almost got the different animal tattoos from the teams tattooed across my back. Like it was this close to let that happen.
Oh, you almost did.
Almost did. Oh, if I had it, I'd rip the shirt off and show you guys. But
and thankfully, you did not.
Right. I also like Wheel of Fortune.
Okay.
And I love Press Your Luck.
Oh, no whammies, big money. Thank you. And Michael Larson, yes, the scandal.
If I could expand to shows that are also games, Survivor would be pretty high on my list as well. But it's not a traditional game show, but it's a show that is a game.
If we're counting that, then I'd say Amazing Race.
We are stretching the definition of a game show.
It's a game show.
What's funny is me and Amy have the favorite one, though. I mean, we share our favorite. You should be alive with Ruby and Gideon.
Is this one big plug? Oh, okay.
And, I don't know. I once tried out for the kids version of Joker's Wild. Didn't make it. I can remember they had like a quiz beforehand, and I said the Nina, the Pinta, and the Mayflower, which I've never forgotten since. That is the Santa Maria. I like Tic Tac Doe.
Okay.
In the middle, Wink Martindale.
Does Cole know what Tic Tac Doe is? Yeah, that's what I thought. I only know because of my grandparents. That's why I knew Cole was out of the way.
I got a callback once for the athletes version of Wipeout, and then they asked me my qualifications, and I was like, and they found out I wasn't an athlete, and there was that.
I wish I was better at golf because I'm very, very close to calling Holy Moly because they're doing a call right now.
Do it.
If we're counting Wipeout's my favorite.
He loves Wipeout. Okay. I'm sorry. Back to you, Cole. I just had a question.
Yeah. So the last couple of things I have are just about the show ending. So it's kind of interesting. It lasted a bit longer than the television shows on primetime because, ran out of steam pretty quickly when you're trying to put it on for 5 nights a week for an entire 2-year period. Maybe not the smartest move on their part, especially because they could have had Survivor and then got wrecked in the ratings by Survivor because they chose not to pick up.
I didn't know that. Survivor almost went to ABC.
They talk about it in Disney War.
Okay.
They go into it, yeah.
Disney had all they could do with that. Oh,
I know. So
there's an island across the Fort Wilderness that needs something, and that would have been fantastic.
Yeah, they said instead of Survivor, we're going to run with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, which seemed like a pretty decent idea at the time, but long term, clearly the wrong decision to make.
Disney is still yet to get a good show in that realm because Amazing Race is CBS, right?
Yeah.
I don't think ABC has ever had one of that style of reality show that's really.
I would say The Bachelor.
I would say The Bachelor and The Bachelorette are kind of in that realm.
Yeah.
You guys both watch them.
Of course, no.
Okay, Tony knows he does.
There was I didn't until about 2 seasons ago when I watched. From a psychological perspective, the fact that you're locking 25 guys up with one girl is just an accident waiting to happen. And I had it on in the background, and I don't remember his name, but he was some crazy guy, and they were doing some rugby challenge, and he just like banged another guy over his knee. And it became this huge like drama. I'm like, there you go. And that's when it got into my brain. And it was just like, you got to watch the rest of this now. So
and you do.
Asked me what's going on with them now. I have no idea.
For The Bachelor or The Bachelorette?
That was the one with the girl that ended up everywhere. Hannah?
No idea.
Montana?
No, because that's 2 people in one.
Is this the rugby challenge you were talking about?
No, because that's Comedy Central. What is that?
That's Friends. The Friends episode where Ross plays rugby.
Friends is on Comedy Central now? We're getting way off topic.
I know. Friends, Cole, for you, Friends is this show that was on in the 90s set in Manhattan.
It's a lot like How I Met Your Mother.
Okay, so eventually the attractions did close because without the show being a primetime sensation, people didn't really care about Who Wants to Be in it. Honestly, there's a chance that they were getting more people coming in and playing the show in the parks than they were in real life in syndication. Like,
I would believe that. I would absolutely believe that.
The pretty decent chance of that happening. And they actually both closed around the same date. One was August 20th, 2004 in California Adventure. So that is 2 days from now, we'll have the 16th anniversary. And then in Hollywood Studios, August 19th, 2006. So tomorrow's the 14th anniversary. So this was a fitting time since they both left within the same like 1 day of each other, though it was 2 years apart.
Wow, that's trippy coincidence.
But the fact that, I don't know, the fact that Hollywood Studios version was there for 5 years, that's not bad when the show had been off prime time for 4 years. Like,
that's shocking, actually.
And the better question is, though, too. So I would also argue that out here we have a larger British tourism base than California.
Yeah,
and it was still on out there. So if they came over here.
Very well played into it.
I also don't know, did we lose it because it was just time for it to go, or was that because that was when Toy Story Mania started? So
I think, yeah, I would say they were probably actively looking for things to replace it.
I would agree with that.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like they weren't saying, oh, we got another 5 years in Millionaire, but there's this cool ride, Toy Story Mania, we want to make it. It only fits right there.
It was only going to go to California Adventure, and then Studios was just like, we want it too.
Yeah.
Why? It was okay. I don't miss that era. The Millionaire, American Idol. The guests are not the entertainment. They're not as entertaining as when Disney actually provides the entertainment themselves, in my humble opinion.
No, I agree. That kind of goes back to the whole, we have survey ratings that say the guests want to be more involved. And that was one of their solutions to it.
The one exception to that is when you get to interact, when you see people interacting in the line for Rise of the Resistance. That is gold. Right, Tony?
But they have to be in the line first, which is never open. So you have to like have a virtual boarding pass, and then you just keep walking by. And
then it's not
a question now. So I don't know. I can't even answer that question yet. But I'll say the whole idea of theme parks now of saying, they thought this way on the screen, let's make it that way. I feel like Millionaire is actually one of the steps of that happening. Because
My
when
son
you had Millionaire, it looked exactly like you saw it in the game show, down to the lighting, down to where all the steps and stuff were. So it basically was, oh my God, this looks just like it. And then that got pushed even further with certain wizards down the street, where it was just, this is just like we saw in the movie. And then there we are.
My son has some insight on my last statement that I should have been smart enough to think of.
So, what'd you say?
I said that I think, oh, dude, get away. I think that I don't really love attractions where the guest is a huge part of the entertaining.
Well, Dad, that's why they replaced Millionaire with Toy Story Mania, a shoot an American Idol experience with the Frozen sing-along.
Yep.
Very astute. Very astute.
Clearly, we should be switching places because I have no.
But they're not really in Midway Mania. They're not really doing the entertaining. They're just playing along.
But while that is true, I put that two of my absolute least favorite attractions are Toy Story Mania and Buzz Lightyear.
Okay.
I don't want to have to be a part. Oh, and then I mentioned Millennium Falcon. I don't want to be a part of it. I just want to enjoy it. So.
Are you telling me that you don't sit on Toy Story Mania and just watch everyone else shoot around you?
Because that's not fun.
Because that's what most people do, right? That's what I do. Sometimes I don't want to play. I just sit there and I watch. I'm like, you suck at shooting.
It's a fun enough game that I do play. A Buzz Lightyear I have no interest in. But
I think it's been more Buzz than anything.
Yeah. I hate Disney World's Buzz Lightyear, but Disneyland's all about it.
But my wife loves
you can take out the gun
game, so something for everyone.
Midway Mania bothers me because it literally is just I'm going to hit here and then slide to the next video game console and then slide to the next video game console and then slide to the next video game console. There's really no aside from playing games.
You know what Midway Mania really bothers me? It is exactly what Tony said, and yet it's pretty fun. And I come off happy every time, and that upsets me because I'm not doing anything but playing a video game. And that kind of irks
me. Hey, it's 3D too.
That's fine.
My issue is that I just feel tired afterwards. Like my wrist hurts when I am done playing Toy Story Mania, especially with the finale. You have to go so fast.
Yep.
And you want to do Wipeout. You don't have a chance.
I would have failed so hard at athlete version of Wipeout. It was the more intense Wipeout that I auditioned.
Just as long as there's none of this. How are you going to do the Spider-Man ride?
I don't know. I was not a fan of the Spider-Man ride. I really thought it was going to be a roller coaster because there was a patent out. I know, but there was a patent out for it to be a roller coaster. They had like a swinging thing, and they had even released like kind of a track. Yep. And that seemed so much more exciting to me than a ride where I would shoot webs like Spider-Man.
Yep. What Spider-Man ride?
The one that's coming to Disneyland.
We have to fire webs?
Yeah, it's from what it looks like in the art, if you're familiar with the Ninjago ride at Legoland, where you have to sit there going like this. Yes. The whole ride, like it's a Xbox Kinect. That's how it's going to be, but you're flinging webs. So
don't like that trend at all.
To be so mad. He just learned and it's so
Another thing about Toy Story Mania, it's 40.
The 40 helps. The fourth D is important, yes, but it's
time.
Don't be that intelligent a show, Tony.
Technically, every ride is 4D then.
Well, except for the 2D rides, and they're 3D.
I don't know. I have a distance from them.
With one of the D's is static, it doesn't count, does it? Anyway, sorry, we are way off track.
Yeah, totally.
My final question is, what would you rate this? What would you rate Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Play It on a scale of today? We're going to go 1 to 17.
I love this aspect of the show.
Okay.
Tony goes first.
1 to 17. I'd probably throw it at like a 9 because it did have repeatability to it. Mm-hmm. You could keep going back and it's different every time. It's still it could be argued with the whole yeah, it's a show, but it goes along with the whole Toy Story Mania Buzz Lightyear idea. Like I can still go and play and rank up points and this and this and this. And if I go down, I actually get something out of it. It's not just I got off the ride. I have now cheap pins I can trade, or maybe even a jacket to wear in Florida.
Yeah.
Tony ranks it a 9 because he gets cheap pins he can trade. Okay. I would rank it probably about a
Pins.
6.843.
Oh, we can do decibels?
Of course.
Oh, well then.
I did like 5.9 bar last time or something.
That's right. I forgot.
Well, 0.4 or a 4.025 out of 10, of course.
That's exactly what I was shooting for. Good math up here. It is what it is. It's probably as good as it can possibly be, but what a low ceiling.
I guess for me, so I'm in an interesting situation where I feel like I probably went on it as a kid, but I don't remember because I would have been the ages of 5 to 8, and I would never have cared about a game show asking trivia questions at that age. But I'm sure at some point I saw it. I don't remember it at all. And
So if it was there today, would you go?
Yeah, and there's no good version of it online, so I haven't really been able to even see the theme park version.
There's a really good
yes,
version
there is.
online called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Like
No.
the show in Florida, I don't know. I couldn't find when
We
I
have a video of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that
I did,
recent?
We had a list of the archival stuff, and I found it.
Oh,
Did we put it up?
Yeah, we put it up
Oh,
so
so
I
just
wrote this.
into
I
the
wrote
archive.
this article. I wrote this article like 3 years ago before it was probably up. So now there is a good video, which I can link to in the article. I should go and update it.
Yep.
And watch it myself. But I would say if I were to do this now, I love trivia, and I feel like I'd probably give this about a 12 out of 17 because I feel like it's something I would do all the time. Because if I could just go to a Disney park and play trivia, that's kind of like an ideal day for me. I really can't ask for much more than that. Like I'm the person that when that Disney Parks app came out, like the Disney Play app where you could do the trivia, I would do that while waiting in lines because it was ideal for me. I could answer trivia in a theme park. It's perfect day.
So going back to last week when you talked about American Idol and how you spent a whole day going to the same one, even 4 shows in a day, would you do that with this one too?
There would definitely be a day where I would just be like, you know what? I've been coming to Disneyland a lot recently. All I want to do is sit and watch Millionaire, and I would just go to every show for the whole day. I would.
And you don't work there, so you could potentially go down and win.
Exactly. Yeah, I could definitely see myself doing that.
That's cool. I would agree with that more than the American Idol one.
Yeah, no, the American Idol one, that was definitely a brief blip in my life that I can't quite explain. But this, I know that I like. You know, I watch trivia shows. I like trivia as opposed to singing shows, which I've still never seen in an episode of American Idol.
So I was just checking out this video Tony spoke of, and yeah, it's a good video. I'm glad you spotted that one, Tony. It's got a lot of views for us too. So nice job. There's a girl in it. She's wearing a USD, I think, University of San Diego sweatshirt while she's playing. I think she's in a nursing home now, but it's a solid video. I recommend people check it out if you never got to see the real show.
I will. Now I have something to do tomorrow. I had nothing, so now
tomorrow. Do it tonight.
No, I have things to do tonight. Tonight, yeah.
Whoa.
But tomorrow though.
Cole has a life.
No, don't be silly. Well, that's about it.
Yeah, the show coming on later. So.
Oh yes, I could do that.
Right.
That's it. That's my thoughts. Unless anyone has final thoughts, that's where we are.
Da, 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 da. That's my final.
I was gonna go rent some DJ lighting to just do the lights behind me. But that proved too expensive, and I don't think Doobie and our CEO would want that bill. So just for a live stream lighting effect.
Smart move.
I also realistically looked at doing it with some little tiny track lighting spotlights. I don't know how to program those to move, so it also wouldn't really have worked. It would have just been my roommate or somebody else just moving them.
Useless, man. A lot of thoughts, no action. I'd like to remind everyone that in 2.5 short hours, myself and the little boy that's been coming on here every now and then will be doing next episode of Disney Trivia Live. Tonight's contests are yet to be determined, so please tune in. Usually Tony,
I don't know if I want to go.
Make a lot of fun of them. It's okay. We'll be okay without you. No, please come. Please come so I can make fun of you. Check that out. It's a lot of fun. Tony, you play it almost every time. Is it a lot of fun?
It's fun. Yeah. I dare say it is a lot of fun. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I was a little scary there. And then tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we're going to be back in the parks. What are we calling these now? No, we changed it.
Sad, because I like the old
Stroll in the park.
Walk, storming the parks.
Stroll.
Rolling through the
I
park.
believe it's storming the park with the weather lately.
I hope tomorrow we can get Jeremiah just to watch a duck. Just follow a duck around for an hour. That's my goal. But anyway, whatever it is, we'll be doing that tomorrow at 9 a.m. in the morning, as opposed to 9 a.m. in the night. 9 a.m. in the morning at Pacific time, noon Eastern time. And with that, I will let Cole have the final word until I say something after him.
I don't know if I have a final word. That was the end of the show.
Is that your final answer?
Awesome. Thanks, Cole. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Gideon. Thanks,
Thank you.
Thanks, Doobie. Nice to see everyone. Wave goodbye until we're off the air.